Hey everyone, today we are going to talk about the things you should do 1 week before your cruise, right after this. Hey everyone, Johnny from Bite Size Cruises. Welcome back to our channel. If it's your first time here, we're a small travel agency. We try to give you great information about cruising so that you can plan and go on an amazing cruise vacation. If that sounds good, we'd love for you to subscribe. Come along with us on the journey. Today, we're going to be talking about the things you should do 1 week prior to your cruise. We're going to be doing a whole series of these videos, starting with the minute you book your cruise, and then a year out, 9 months out, 6 months out, the whole 9 yards until we get to cruise day. So I'm just doing this 1 week one because I'm a week away from going on Celebrity Summit. So I wanted to put this together to give you an idea of what I am doing this week to get ready. Now I'm a little crazy, so I pack way ahead of time. Most stuff I pack ahead of time. I go on a lot of cruises, so I have like cruise clothes, right? So I pack those things. Generally, when I come home from a cruise, I wash, dry, and fold those things, and then about a week or so ahead of time, I'll pack them. You certainly don't have to pack a week before. So let's get into our list. Number one on our list is make sure you've downloaded the Cruise Line app. Have it ready, have it logged in, make sure everything's in there that you need. And then one step further I usually go is I take a picture of my check-in information. Usually once you check in on the app, you could see like your CPAS card in there so that when you get to the port, you have all that ready. Most people will go in there and pull that up when they get into the port. A lot of times when you're in the port, there's 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 people at the port, and you're trying to get into the app, you're trying to use the Wi-Fi or use your signal. I generally go in there and snap a screenshot of my CPAS card, and then I save it. When I get up through the x-ray machines and I get to the line, I just boom, show them the picture, they scan it, I'm on, they check your stuff and you're on the ship. So that is number one for me. Make sure you have the app downloaded, and then the little bonus tip there is to also snap a picture of your CPAS card. Number two, and this is a big one, sometimes I forget to do and then I regret it. Check your phone plan. I have AT&T. When I go to some other countries, for $10 a day, I can use the internet and the phone and everything else. So I always check that ahead of time to make sure wherever I'm going, like Nassau, I can use it in Nassau. Or the Bahamas, I can use it in the Bahamas. So that I have that ready to go when you get off the ship. You just get out of airplane mode and it'll tell me right away, welcome to the Bahamas, it's $10 a day. So keep an eye on that, or call your phone company if you have Verizon or T-Mobile or Sprint and ask them, hey, is there an international plan, or plan to not take your phone out of airplane mode. So just plan ahead on your phone right there. I think that's always a pretty good tip. Number three, since you have the app and you have all that stuff, make sure you're checked in and make sure all your check-in information is correct. Make sure your passport information in there or your driver's license information in there is correct. Make sure you have the right credit card in there that you want to use for the trip, for your room charges. Make sure you answer the health questionnaire. It's usually like 48 hours pre-cruise. You could fill that out, so make sure that's good to go. And other than that, you should be good with that. Just make sure everything's good. You can do it online or on the app. Next up, make sure you review any documents you need at the port. Do you need to bring your passport? Of course you do. If you don't have a passport and you're leaving out of the US on a closed loop cruise, meaning you leave from the US and come back to the US, do you have your driver's license? Do you have your birth certificate? You need a raised seal birth certificate. What else might you need? Do you have kids? Do you need paperwork for them? Make sure you have everything in order. Review everything. Some cruises you still need a COVID test, a negative COVID test, or proof of your vaccination. So make sure you double check everything. Don't rely on anybody else's word. I am a travel advisor, and even it's very difficult. I am pretty on top of what cruise lines, what itineraries need what. Do not rely on it. Check for yourself and make sure you are comfortable with whatever documentation is needed. Number five, did you book your excursions? Do you have everything ready to go? Did you buy your Wi-Fi? Did you buy your drink package? All of those things are going to be way more expensive once you get on the cruise ship. So if you're going back and forth and you're not sure, oh, I don't know if I want to spend all that money on the drink package, get it before you go on if you're going to do it. So do that. Make sure you have Wi-Fi if you need it. Make sure you have your excursions booked. A lot of times now, the excursions are selling out. I have seen this firsthand. I know Matt. I was listening to Matt on Royal Caribbean blog the other day, and he was bringing it up that a lot of, since the pandemic, excursions for some reason are just selling out. So make sure if you're going to go on an excursion, don't wait till you get on the ship. I used to wait all the time and go, maybe I'll do it. They're not going to get cheaper and they are going to sell out. So make sure you book your excursions ahead of time. Number 6, print your luggage tags. I personally don't check any luggage 99% of the time. I take one small suitcase and then we bring our camera equipment and everything in like a backpack. So I generally don't print out my luggage tags, but if you are checking your luggage, make sure you print your luggage tags out. However, if you do forget them, 9 times out of 10, they can put a luggage tag on there at the port, but it does increase your risk there because they're writing your room number down. So, it's busy at the port. Sometimes they'll quickly write something down and then you got to go hunt your luggage down. Going along with that, if you are checking luggage, even if you're not, here's another recommendation. Get air tags. And put the air tags in I put one in my backpack and in my luggage. That way, if anything goes missing, if you misplace something or they misplace something, you could track it on your phone if you have an Apple device or an iPad or whatever. You can then track it with the Find Me app. So just another little pro tip there. Use Apple AirTags in your luggage. Number 7, scary, huh? Start checking the weather. I hate checking the weather. I would almost rather not know. But I do keep an eye on the weather like a crazy person starting about a week out. I'll look and see what the weather is at the port I'm leaving from, just so you can pack accordingly sometimes. Not even that it's going to be scary or you're going to have rough seas or anything, but just keep an eye on the weather so do I need a sweatshirt? I'm leaving out of Bayonne in a week. It's May now. It's almost June. The weather looks beautiful right now, but you never know. Is it going to rain? Do you need to bring something extra? Do you need a hoodie or something just in case? Just keep an eye on the weather. That way you're prepared. Better safe than sorry, especially if you're going to Alaska or Mediterranean or something overseas. Next up, start packing. I can't recommend it enough. I pack ahead of time and I'm never stressed out by packing. I am ready to go. When I get up in the morning, I just throw my passport in my bag and I'm out the door. I have a checklist for packing. I make sure, I have a shirt for every day. I have a t-shirt for every day. I have a couple pairs of pants. I have a couple pairs of shoes. I have all my underwear. Everything's planned out. So again, like I said, I generally start packing about 8 to 10 days out. By the time I'm about 4 days out, I'm fully packed. The luggage is pretty much closed. You don't have to do that. I understand that that's crazy. So you don't have to do that. It's totally acceptable to not do that. But it's a good time to start at least your packing checklist. What do you want to make sure? Or make sure, you're a week out. So just in case there's something you want to get dry cleaned or there's something you really want to make sure you don't forget, it's a good time to start your process. Or even just start laying your clothes out if you have a spare bedroom or something. We got 2 more. Number 9, check your reservations. So a lot of times with many of the cruise lines, you can now pre-book things like dinner reservations, shows, massages, any of those things. So if you did book anything, double check them, print them out if you feel comfortable, if you don't feel comfortable with them on the app or whatever. I know sometimes if I'm being paranoid, I'll print things out just so I have a copy of it. So in case somebody says, you didn't book this, I can go, yeah, it did. Not that it matters. Once you're on the ship, what's the difference? Being right isn't going to help, but at least you have that, and hopefully some way that'll give you some leverage to get something. But make sure you have those. It's good. Double check everything. And if you didn't make any reservations yet, you can quickly make reservations before you go. You still have a leg up on everybody else who's waiting until they get on the ship. And then last but not least, my last tip, number 10 for the week before is check your credit cards to make sure you don't have transaction fees at any of the ports you're going to. Grab some cash before you go. I don't recommend taking a ton of cash. I used to recommend taking like $100 a day, but it was before there were ATMs on the ship. It was before there was a way to get money from the casino or the way, any place you're going where you could get cash. I generally don't carry that much money anymore. I carry enough money to give tips on board. So generally what I do is I go to the bank a week before and I'll get like 50 or 60 bucks in ones so that I've just changed in case I want to throw somebody a couple bucks if somebody does a really nice job at the bar or something like that. I know tips are included, but if somebody goes above and beyond with great service. And then I take out some tip money for my room steward. I always give extra to the room steward. If you have a butler, if you're in a suite, or if you're in the main dining room, you have the same waiters and waitresses or servers every night, you can give them some extra cash as well. And then just a little bit of spending money. So maybe a few $100 just so you have some cash. If you're going overseas, you need to think about that a little bit more. See maybe if you should grab some euros. I always grab about 50 or $100 in euros, and then the rest I use my credit cards for. You have a little more, you don't know those places as much. So I'm a little more cautious of carrying cash around. So those are our 10 tips for what you should do the week before you cruise. Do you have any things that you do? Do you have any little rituals or anything? Let us know, and we will talk to y'all soon. Hope everybody has a wonderful day and happy cruising. Thanks. Bye.